All right, what up, Who That Nation? This is No Cap, No Filter Saints. I'm your host, Marley G, and I'm going to go ahead on and get my recap of this Saints Colts game. Like I said, man, Saints are winning this game. I said before the game, the Saints are going to bust the Colts' ass, and we was going to win by maybe 2 touchdowns. Was a little off on my score prediction, but I feel like we bust this team ass. I feel like they came out firing. I figured they was going to come out firing. If you look at the last 2 weeks, every team been coming out firing on us. And we make second half adjustments, and we adjust. I think they was getting a lot of breaks, and they were just making some good plays in the second half. But for the most part, our defense kept them in check. Now, when it comes to second half adjustments, I trust DA to get his defense right. And when it comes to second half adjustments, Pete Carmichael, he wasn't really doing a good job. But this game, he did a good job. I feel like Derek Carr, he had a good game. I think he should have let Derek Carr cook a little bit more instead of bringing Taysom out on the field. That pass that Taysom Hill came in and threw, that reminded me exactly of the Giants game that we had two years ago with Sean. And Jameis was cooking, and he just kept putting Taysom on the field, and Taysom threw that long bomb, and it was a pick. Luckily, the rules was in our favor, because when it happens like that, when two guys are making a play on the ball and both of them come down with it, the rule is it automatically goes to the offense. So, that's why Shaheed, it was a catch for Shaheed, So, good thing it wasn't a pick, because that could have just been a disaster. I still think we would have won the game, but I just know my team, man. I just felt like this would have been a trap game if we would have won against the Jags, if we would have won against the Texans. But since we lost against those people, and we was coming in, and it was just a lot of noise, and just been so much going on, so much drama, so much storyline, so much turmoil. It was just another desperation week that we just had to come out with a dub with our backs against the wall, especially not to be 2 games below 500. Like, you could be a game below 500, but don't be 2 games or more below 500, because one game could get you right back at 500, and then you could maybe put some wins together and just be at, you could be afloat, Another thing I feel like I seen today, I seen better spreading the ball around, as far as, Kendre Miller getting the ball, Jamal Williams getting the ball. Jawan got a few looks. I wish he'd have got a little bit more. The few looks that Michael Thomas got, it was either he slipping on the turf. That's why, and that's another thing about the turf. That's another thing Sean took very much paying attention to. Wearing the right cleats. Like, in the beginning, you just seen AK slipping, you seen Taysom slipping, you seen Michael Thomas slipping, you seen all these guys slipping on the turf. Even they players, they were slipping on their own turf, the Colts. So, yeah, man, Sean was real big on wearing the right cleats. So you got to get the right cleats to get some real good traction when you're running the ball and things of that nature. So, we were spreading the ball around a lot. I think Michael Thomas, he could have had a way much bigger game than he had. It was just, Derek Carr, he was either inaccurate, or it was something going on with the turf or something like that. But it was one play where Carr went to Thomas in the middle of the field, and I was like, oh, we using the middle of the field. Thank God. Because it's like, man, when we get a play in the middle of the field, it's just like, it's too far in between. Same with AK. He caught another pass. It was like the Texas concept when the back just come out the backfield. He goes to the flats and then immediately cuts up in the middle of the field. And when that happens, when AK get the ball, good things are going to happen more often than not. So I like when he get choice routes like that, or even just base routes like that. Let's get to Chris Olave. I've said it, this offense needs to run through Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. The reason why I say that, because Michael Thomas is just more dependable than Chris Olave. Yes, Chris Olave has all the talent in the world, but at the same time, he's just not dependable when it comes to certain moments. That one play he had where he dropped the ball. I knew PFF was just going to jinx us, and this was going to be a day he was going to have a huge drop and a big moment that he could have just, been a hero of the game. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. So Chris Olave, he dropped the ball in a big time situation. I think that could have kind of, had us run away with the win a little bit more earlier. But I think the lights had maybe got into his eye. But even if that was Michael Thomas in that particular situation, I think Michael Thomas would have still caught that ball if it was on his hands. The other two Michael Thomas plays, yeah, he slipped on the turf. Can't really do nothing about that. Yeah, Derek Carr throws an inaccurate pass. Mike got to adjust to try to catch it. The defender was just right behind Mike and just easily just punched it out. Like, you can't do nothing about that. But in that situation right there where Mike is wide open, got his eyes on the ball coming down, I don't think Mike will lose focus, with the lights in his eyes a little bit. What else Chris Olave did? It was like one of the first plays that went to Olave. Derek Carr hit him. It looked like he could have just made a little bit more effort and dove for the ball. I just think if he'd have ran a little bit more fast and dove for the ball, maybe he could have caught it or just tried to make a play on it. Just give a little effort. Another play, Chris Olave caught it, and he was and his defender was just lost. Like I said, they was having problems with their cleats too. I don't think he just shook him like that. I think he just slipped on the turf. And Chris Olave had nothing but green grass. He could have caught a touchdown. He could have went for a touchdown or just a much more huge play. He could have had at least a good another 20 yards. But, like I say, man, effort. Chris Olave don't give effort. Yeah, he might got that lingering toe injury that's going on, but at the end of the day, you already out there and you already running. Like, some of these plays, you could be running more with more intensity. Like, a lot of plays you just see him making, it's like, man, he could have cut up field and just went more harder. Like, this is the reason why they chose Garrett Wilson over him. Like, Garrett Wilson just got that dog in him and just played with a level of intensity and effort that Chris Olave don't have. And everybody was talking about he wanted to get better at his yak. And that's another reason why people compare him to Brandon Cooks, because Brandon Cooks was a good player, but he wasn't good with yards after the catch. But I just hope he could bounce back. Hopefully him and Carl get better, with their connection and them being on the same page. But this was a good game. Carmichael was getting a lot of scrutiny lately, and it was much deserved. But you got to give credit when credit is due. They bounced back and had a good game. But I predicted this, I just feel like we got to see it consistently. Like, you want to see it for at least a month straight of efficiency. Yeah, you're going to have a bad game here and there. Everybody can have a bad day at the office, but you don't want to just only see a good game when your back is just against the wall and everybody's just talking about you. And, so much things going around in the building, players throwing other players under the bus, players throwing coaches under the bus, coaches throwing players under the bus. Like, all these things are just going on, and everybody say, oh, yeah, we ain't really hearing the noise, the outside noise. That's cap. That's cap. Everybody's human, bro. If you wouldn't hear the outside noise, you wouldn't be responding in these mentions and all that, the things like on Twitter and stuff. Let me go to defense. Defense, they played pretty good. Like I say, the first half, I didn't like what I was seeing. They was letting, Jonathan Taylor run all over them. Like, missed tackles here, like big old holes he getting through. Runners running all around the players and getting to the sideline and making big gains. Like, I wasn't liking what I was seeing. But I feel like we got a good turnover. I feel like we could have had a little bit more turnovers than we had. But it is what it is. I expected what I seen out the defense, I didn't think they'll... Like, that last touchdown they got, Lonnie Johnson was right there. If he'd have just, like, he was mad at himself, and if he would have just gave a little bit more effort, he probably could have batted that ball or got a pick maybe. But I just felt like he thought that the defense was going to not give Minshew that much time, because Minshew had a lot of time to get that ball away. And I guess when you're on defense, you got that clock in your head like, oh, shoot, the quarterback should be sacked by now. Ain't no way he still got the ball in his hand. But, that's the difference between being a good player and a decent player. And Lonnie Johnson is a decent player. But, yeah, man, you gotta stick with the play. But there was still a good play by Minshew and Overtree, so credit them for that. Special teams, groupie, man. This dude missed I guess you could say it's a game pressure kick, but to me, it was more of a personal pressure kick. Like, he almost missed this last kick of the game. Like, if you look at that kick, this dude almost missed that. He was right there. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. Headley, he didn't even get a chance to punt that many times this game, so I can't really critique him as much. And I didn't really, tune into all his punts, to be honest. So, the jury's still out on how he's done this week. I'll for sure look back at it and, give y'all my input. But, I'll have to get back with Headley. But Groupie, man, this dude I think he's starting to lose his confidence. I really think he's starting to lose his confidence. Let me go ahead on and shout out the offense. The offensive line has played its best performance I've seen all year, I think, today. I think the holes that they were giving the running backs were huge. You seen Alvin Kamara still have that burst. People thinking he's washed in things. Like, nah, man, if you give them holes, Alvin Kamara going to do his thing. Jamal Williams did his thing. He got a lot of carries this game. I think he was just on a snap count last week because he was coming off of IR, but Jamal Williams is still that dude, people. Like, you got to remember, this dude lost at least 13 pounds during training camp in New Orleans. Like, New Orleans weather and Detroit weather is two different animals. Training camp was hard for him probably, and he just lost some weight, I think, because he wanted to be a little bit more elusive in the passing game. But he still has a little bit of, battering ram in him. Everybody just thought he was going to be that Deuce McAllister type, but, get a guy some leeway. Like, this is a whole new offensive scheme, a whole new offensive line blocking. Like, they do a different type of offensive scheme blocking in Detroit, and they offensive line just more talented than ours. But as far as today, we did a damn good job, and I just looking like it's probably a good thing that we did bench Penning, because Pete had played good today. Pete played good today. Ram played good. Everybody pretty much did their thing on the offensive line. I'm pleased with what I've seen today. If we could keep up that blocking, Derek Carr going to look much more better. And if we could keep up consistency with the play calling, Pete Carmichael going to do much more better. I think we left a lot of plays on the field today. Like, we could have even had a better game. But I'm satisfied with what I've seen. And at this point, I'm just so numb to what's going on. I really just feel like it's a win-win situation. We win, cool. We lose, cool. Because there's just more chance that Dennis Allen could get up out of here. It's just a better draft position. Like, because at the end of the day, no matter what happens this season, I still feel like we need to draft a quarterback. We need to draft a quarterback for the future, even if he had to sit behind Derek Carr for a year. We need to draft a quarterback. You look at the Falcons. The Falcons just lost. Will Levis threw 4 touchdowns. I didn't watch the game, so I ain't got much context. But at the end of the day, 4 touchdowns in your first start is good. He's a rookie. They drafted him in the later rounds. He beat out Malik Willis, and it's looking like they made the right decision. So at the end of the day, you got to go ahead on and draft your quarterback of the future. We never drafted a first-round quarterback in like 50 years or something like that. So we got to go ahead and look to the future no matter what happens this season. I don't care if we make the playoffs. We got to look towards the future. Like, if he got to just ride the bench for a year behind Derek Carr, so be it. The only thing I'm hoping is we get another head coach that can pick that quarterback. We get another head coach that could go pick his offensive coordinator and just see how we want to go about it from there. The only bad thing about that, we might take a little hit on defense, and on top of that, the other bad thing about that, some of the guys that we like might not be that coach player. So a lot of the guys that we like, they might be up out of here, especially some fan favorites. So at the end of the day, I pretty much predicted this was going to be a win. This is a good win. But like I said, man, we got to see consistency. Yeah, you could give me this win, but are you going to break my heart versus the Bears? Are you going to break my heart versus the Vikings coming up? Now if we could beat the Bears, we could beat the Vikings, we put on a 3-game win streak, we could go for 4, then that's fine. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that. But I don't have confidence that this team could win a 4-game win streak. I don't. Now, hopefully we could put some things together. We figure some things out on offense and on defense. Hopefully we could get Peyton Turner back as soon as possible. Shouts out to Isaiah Foskey. He made a good play. They called that fumble back. I figured they was going to do that because you remember what happened week 1 versus the Titans. They called that fumble back versus, when we played the Titans when Derek Carr had fumbled. I don't know what's a fumble nowadays. I guess your arm gotta be staying put or going forward. Your arm gotta be going forward for it not to be a fumble, but I don't know. It's just like a catch. You don't know what's a catch nowadays. But I figured they was gonna overturn that, but at the end of the day, still a nice play by Foskey. That's what you want to see because Cam Jordan is not getting no younger. Like these defensive ends that we got in Foskey and Peyton Turner, they gotta hit. And even Brazil, like he gotta hit. Colin Saunders, he gotta hit. They gotta get pressure in that interior, But that's my game recap. At the end of the day, we got Chicago next. I'm curious to see how that rookie doing. I'm gonna go look at their film, and later on I'll have my preview of Saints versus the Bears. Until then, who that, man? Let me know in the comment section what you think about the game recap, and y'all be safe out there.